Good evening. Hi, just wanted to talk to you. I am so full with this particular message because I know I need to hit home right now. I may be talking to some leader. I may be talking to the very spirit of Absalom as I begin to minister concerning when they divorced the pastor and so TARES. I'm telling you, in this hour, we have got to recognize those who are hurting, those who are seeking a place somewhere they can connect, somewhere that somebody can say, I recognize what you have, and not just talk it, but walk it. And as I said in my introduction, people don't just listen to you speak, they watch your feet. That means they watch your actions. And I just want to share a couple of nuggets about this spirit that has come to attack the body. And I want you to meditate on this, because this type of thinking has caused the church to split, has caused the church to be a revolving door, has caused sheep to go and sow tares right in the midst of the body and build their own personal private ministry. Whether it's taking the people to the side and sharing things about the pastor or the leader or whatever that is, it's out to destroy the body. And we've got to get prepared for this spirit in these last days. The truth of the matter is that every relationship, whether it's personal or whether it's professional, what you do has far greater impact than anything you say. You got to understand that you can say you love somebody, you can say this, but unless you demonstrate that love through your actions, your words become meaningless. They become fruitless. You can say you want to engage in a win-win situation, whether it's a negotiation or whether it's something you trying to talk to your wife or your children about, you just trying to get this thing taken care of. But unless your behavior shows that you really mean it, you will what? Come across very insincere. But you can say to a person, whether it's in your congregation or whether it's in your business partnership, and you can say that I'm going to put you before anything else. And you can say that you recognize them, that they're important to you, that you're an asset. And I know you've heard that before. Oh, your gifts, I really need them. Or you really anointed. We really need you. And that never takes place for that person. You never recognize them. You never train them up. You never sow the seed that God has put inside you so that what? They can go and create and make disciples. I know I'm talking to somebody. But you say this stuff. But you will never ever comply to the rule, or that you'll never ever engage in the fruitful things that you speak. You never practice it. You only say this respectful information with confidence, putting into their spirit that they can count on you, that because they're so committed to you, and that they never see any faults, or they never see anything that you're doing that's needing correction. But yet you never ever demonstrate that I'm here to grow you up as a disciple. Now you say all these things, as I said before, but unless you actually do them, your words will not build trust. In fact, they will destroy it. Good works have its own place. Good words have its own place. But we've got to know that it's got to signal behavior. You cannot go and just keep talking and not walking. They will deliver an intent, but guess what? There'll be no fruit. They can also give you a whole lot of emotional hype and an emotional hope. And when these words are not followed through, this behavior, this causes an intensity of distrust. This causes an increase of distrust. It's only dramatization. It's only words. It's only things that we continue to say, but never, ever sow. And so what? When you don't sow, they're going to sow. And they're going to sow tares to destroy what God has built or put inside of you to do. Now remember, when this behavior don't follow through and you don't match it with your walk and your talk, you can expect withdrawal. You can expect that it's going to come back unfruitful. Now I want to share a little bit out of my book that's called Why I Can't Trust You. This particular book, I wrote it out of the spirit of trying to get an understanding as an apostle how important it is that we build leadership, how important it is that the pastors know and leaders know we cannot do this alone. It is not God's desire. So we must have spiritual eyes to see who it is that God has appointed to you for such a time as this, that you may train them up to prevent sowing tares, to prevent breaches of what you say that you can and will do to build them up. I know I'm talking to somebody, but yet you just want them there so they can help build the fruit of what you see, but never develop the spiritual gifts within them. Oh, I know I'm talking to somebody. So they're sowing tares. My God, but in times like these, when the enemy is using the very elect, we must be prayerful to be able to see in the spirit realm how the hidden agendas, those deceptive strategies and the hidden religious alliances are taking root right in the midst of the sanctuary, in the hearts and the minds of leadership that we put our trust in. And as we face the spiritual warfare from Absalom, who often sows seeds of rebellion, of hurting sheep, this is why this calls them to believe that the most church leadership is incompetent, they're not to be trusted, and that they have been gifted with leadership skills to lead people the right way, but we must remind them to take heed. They've got to look at Ephesians 6 and 5 that tells us, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, and in singleness of your heart as unto Christ. But no, they have disrespect of authority, they self-promote. That Absalom spirit operates in undercover and often manifests in false humility, manipulation, disloyalty, religious hypocrisy, spiritual height, and subtle emotional seduction. I know I'm talking to somebody. Now, I consider the Absalom spirit, as a hater. And I talk about this section in my hater and in my book, Why I Can't Trust You. This Absalom spirit in this segment I talk about in my book about the haters and the fakers. See, the Absalom spirit sows the tares because they are haters now. They're mad at you because, why? You haven't elevated them. You have not graduated them. You have not ordained them. You have not recognized them. This spirit has a hater and a faker spirit because they work overtime to spiritually deceive those, so the tares, who have trust in righteous leadership. See, what they want to do from their experience and from their own hurts, and I know from my own experience, I've come to understand that they often manifest their betrayal through these 4 key behaviors. Now, I know I'm going to be able to stay on here long, because I want to make sure you hear me out, that you can look and see that tear in the spirit. I know I'm talking to somebody. That's why we have this revolving door. This is why we have the breaches. This is why we have sheep drifting, from church to church, because of these 4 things. This particular spirit, after it's been wounded, after it has been oppressed, they're drained, they're tired, they just want you to recognize them. They want you to say, oh, Dr. Sandy, I see that gift. Oh, Sister Mary, I really have need of you. But they don't just talk it, they need to walk it. So when they don't, this is what happens. These 4 C's, I call it, they compare. The first thing they do, they compare. So they often compare their likeness or differences in the leadership gifts. They put one gift issue or person by the side of another for the sake of comparison. So they go compare these things, what you say or what you do, and let me show you I can be better. And then the second thing, they want to compete. They tend to contend or struggle in a battle or fight spiritually and physically. They strive in dispute or debate. This means that they will strive. That means they will exert their energy. They will lose sleep or extreme effort to win or conquer an issue by any means necessary. That means they got to win. They got to show you that you are not a good pastor. You are not a good leader. You're not helping us. It's about your money. It's about your house. It's about your car. They want to make it look like that you are a false prophet or that you are just about the money. You're not about the souls of the people. So they sow and tear. I know I'm talking to somebody. And then the third thing, they complain. They will express feelings of dissatisfaction, resentment, or emotional pain to make a formal accusation against you, or they'll bring a charge against a person or an issue raised by authority that they feel like that this is not right. They will grumble, they'll gripe, they'll kick against, they'll whine, they'll lie about an issue to get their way. I know I'm talking to somebody. Oh my God, I hope I'm helping you out, Pastor Leader, because they're right in the midst. They're cunning. That's the 4th C. They're skilled in deception. They're spiritually manipulative. They're shrewd. They're crafty. They're skillfully underhanded in performances and controlling with ability to restrain or influence direct authority. Now you listen to me good, Pastor or Leader. This spirit that keeps going in and out of different churches, shifting here and there, sowing tares, divorcing pastor after pastor. The bottom line is that they are rebellious and are operating in spiritual witchcraft. We've got to know that we got to call a spade, and we've got to pray. Because in this hour, in this book, one of the things I talked about as far as research is concerned, you know, this divorce rate. See, they got to divorce you first. Because see, if they easily divorce their own spouses and leave their own children, what says that for you? Because they're not grown up yet. They're hurting. So this divorce rate and the statistics that I read as it relates to Christians, this divorce rate among born again, that means new converts, and that's even in leadership because they're still operating as spiritual babies. See, Christians exceed the nation by 4% in the divorce rate, especially among what? Bible-believing saints. It exceeds the nation by 50%. That's pathetic. And then 90% of divorces among Christians occurred when? After they came to Christ. That is really sad. But the part that I want to bring out before I close this, you have a responsibility for. See, you got to understand and have your eyes open in the spirit, leader. See, the deceptive spirit that is still working and must be destroyed among the body of Christ is that the researchers have shown us, and if those people that are in the secular realm can show us, we've got to have our eyes open in the spirit. They say that they have diagnosed that Jesus may be the Savior. I know I'm talking to somebody, but the self is the self-made king. We want to be our own self-made king. And that great number of American Christians do not worship the God of the Bible, but a custom man-made, man-worshiping God, one made in their own selfish image. I know I'm talking to somebody. Now, I'm not going to go over too much more of this, but I want to leave this with you, because I'm so full as I begin to meditate on this in my quiet time about how it is that the body has become so weak because they constantly divorce the pastor rather than praying for the pastor, rather than praying for the first lady, rather than getting alongside and raising up their arms, because we're all weak about something. None of us are exempt from some test or trial in our life or some struggle. But we need each other. We got to pray. The Bible says in Galatians chapter 6, when a man falls, when a man is troubled, you read that. That means we're not supposed to press them down. We're supposed to lift them up. But yet and still, we forget that we are not exempt. And I want you to know that in this hour, if you are a church hopper, if you are one that's sowing tares, if you are one that is hurting, you've got to know that trust is established through action. You've got to pray. You've got to say, Father, show me how to pray for my pastor and first lady. Father, show me how to love them through your eyes. Father, show me how I can serve them through these gifts. Not wanting a title, not wanting a position, but how to use the gifts to build a kingdom. Oh, I know I'm talking to some leader. My God. And remember, you can say all these things, but unless you begin to demonstrate them, we have got to know that our homework is to begin to build trust accounts. And hopefully I can talk about that later. But the lesson I want you to learn out of this is you've got to know that if you're not a caring person right now, and you're dealing with some things, but you desire to not deal with them, then you're going to reap the same seed you sow. But if you desire to be a caring person, then go out and behave. Behave in that manner. Let your feet do the talking. And if you're not an honest person, because you're sowing tares, what? You need a desire to be an honest person. You need to begin to sow love and pray love, the fruit of love, the fruit of patience, the fruit of long suffering. For these that you feel that are not treating you accordingly, then go out and behave in honest ways. Just do what is caring and honest people do. It may take time, but as you do these things, you can behave yourself into the kind of person you want to be. And that has to be through the eyes of God and not through our own man-made God. And guess what? You've got to stop sowing the tares. You've got to stop divorcing the pastors. And you've got to get connected somewhere that they can cover you and shield you and build you up. Pray so that this fruit can grow. And I love you. But in order to build a trust bank, you've got to put something in it. It's up to you. God bless you.